Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another session continuation on the topic of GST. Let's continue our study on the very important topic which we are ongoing, the question on input tax credit, right? So we have understood section 16, right? In detail, we have understood all the conditions to claim the input tax credit. We'll proceed as I had promised that we will end that last slide on section 16, and then I will show you how the input tax credit is credited to your electronic credit ledger. I will show you that also. And then we will move to section 17 restrictions. As I had requested, if there's any questions, please let me know. Vidushi Jaiswal, are you there? She has a question on page 7.17. Let me just share that screen. Vidushi, is that question related to ITC or it's related to value of supply? Okay, never mind. Quiz number 2. Okay, 7.16, right? You can try to unmute now and just let me know which question it is.
Sir, quiz 3, 7.17 page number.
Quiz 3. Okay. Bura Limited, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me just share the screen. Yes. Bura Limited, a registered supplier in Surat, Gujarat, sold goods to Kala Limited of Delhi on 6th April for 5 lakh rupees, with the condition that if Kala Limited failed to make the payment within 30 days of the delivery of the goods, interest at 2% per month on the said price of 5 lakh will be charged for the period of delay. Okay, so this is the terms. The goods were supplied on 6th April.
Yes,
Then
sir.
the condition is that the payment should be made within 30 days. Okay. Now, goods were delivered and the invoice was issued on 5th April. Kala Limited paid the consideration for the goods on 20th May, along with applicable interest. Kala Limited refused to pay any tax payable on the interest amount. Applicable rate of GST in this case is 18%. What is the value of supply in the given case? So, what have you done?
Sir, I have calculated the interest as per 15 days,
Mhm. Why
and my
15
answer is B,
days?
but as per the correct answer is C.
Correct. Now, you have calculated interest on 5 lakhs at
Yes, sir.
2%. For 1 month, it is 2%. So, you have considered for half the month.
Yes, sir.
Now, 5,000 is, you have done 80% steps correctly, that yes, you have calculated the interest. But one line you missed out is Kala Limited refused to pay any tax payable on the interest. What does this mean?
So that no tax will be on interest.
Correct. So So can you say that there is no tax on the interest? Does the
Yes,
law
sir.
say so?
Mm,
Law says that if you collect interest and if your customer is not paying, you don't pay GST to the government. Is it permitted?
no, sir.
It is not permitted, right? It is just that Kala Limited is saying that I will not pay the interest. I will not pay the tax on the interest,
Yes,
which
sir.
means what? The value of the interest, what you have calculated, has to be grossed up. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
you are collecting total amount of 5,000. You cannot collect anything above that. That 5,000 itself includes the tax component.
Okay.
So 5,000 is the net value. You have to gross it up. Okay. So what you will do, you will take 5,000 rupees, which is the interest, divided by what is the GST rate?
18.
18. So 5,000 divided by 100 plus 18.
118.
118 percentage
Okay,
gives
sir.
that as 4,237.
Okay, sir.
So the value of the goods is 5 lakhs and the interest component is 4,237. So the correct
Yes, sir.
answer is 5 lakh
Yeah.
12,237.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So be careful wherever you have to do gross up, you will have to do gross up in that cases. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sanya, didn't understand your question. Correct, Saikaran. Interest amount received is inclusive of GST. Yes, somebody's trying to talk.
Sir,
Yes,
I
Sanya.
want to ask, sir, when we purchase goods from a supplier who is not eligible to claim ITC,
Uh, okay.
then we are also not able to claim ITC on that
Mm,
goods.
Not necessary. If he is not able to claim ITC, but he is charging GST, right? He will charge you GST, no?
Yes, sir.
So you can claim on that. There is no kind of restriction that if he cannot claim, you also cannot claim.
Okay, sir.
We will see now under section 17, what we will discuss today, that it is not dependent on the vendor. It is dependent on the category of the goods or services which is mentioned under section 17. If you're purchasing something and that is blocked under section 17, then you cannot claim the credit.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hardik, which context are you talking about ham projects?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, in the time of supply, there were HAM projects like hybrid annuity maintenance project. Sir, their time of supply, I am not able to understand the wordings of that article.
The circular are you saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is it part of your study material or as a just a circular?
Sir, it is a part of study material.
Okay. Hybrid annuity.
Yes, sir.
Um, it's there in value of supply, right? I don't think
No,
it's
sir.
mentioned.
Time of supply. Sir, it is a continuous supply.
Right. but I'm not able to find it in the study material. Might be, okay, I think it is updated.
Sir, in latest study material, it is there in the study material, and previously it was in the that amendments bill of Jan 2025.
Okay, right. Yeah. So I just share that. Yeah. So time of supply says that what is the contractors had some issue, and so they came up with a request to the department saying, give us some clarification on what is the time of supply in respect of supply of services for construction of road and maintenance of the national highway project of the NHAI in HAM model. HAM model means hybrid annuity model. So the issue was under the hybrid annuity model of national NHAI, the concessioner, that is the contractor, you could say, has to construct the new road and provide operation and maintenance of the same, which is generally over a period of 15 to 17 years. And the payment for that same, which should come from the NHAI, is spread over a period of years. So you don't get the as soon as you complete the road, you'll get the money. No, that's not the way it works. It works that the payment will be received over a period of years because you have to, it's a hybrid model wherein you have to maintain it also. So in that situation, the query was, what is the time of supply for the purpose of payment of tax? So the clarification said that under the hybrid annuity model of concession agreements, the highway development projects are under design, build, operate, and transfer model. So the general model is design it, build it, operate it, and then transfer the ownership to the government, wherein the concessioner is required to undertake new construction of the highway as well as the operation and maintenance. Both he will have to do it. He just can't construct it and go off. He will have to construct it and maintain those highways. The payment terms for the construction portion as well as the O&M, operation and maintenance portion of the contract are provided in the agreement itself. The HAM contract is a single contract for construction as well as operation and maintenance. So the name itself suggests it's a hybrid model. So you will get payment for the construction as well as for the maintenance. If you construct and if you don't maintain, then your payment will get stuck. So the government has come up with this model wherein you will construct it and also maintain it. The payment terms are so staggered that the concessioner is held accountable for the repair and maintenance. And the contract needs to be looked at holistically basis on the services to be performed by the concessioner and cannot be artificially split. There's no bifurcation saying that this is the price for construction and one more price for the maintenance. That way you cannot split it because it's a total contract. The concessioner is bound contractually to complete not only the construction but also to operate and maintain. In HAM contract, the payment is made spread over the contract period in installments, and payment of each installment is to be made against specific periods or on completion of an event. So it is similar to continuous supply because you are providing a supply for more than a period of 3 months, and it satisfies the condition of continuous supply. So what is the time for continuous supply of services? That is what will apply here. That is what they are concluding, saying that it is clarified that the tax liability on the concessioner under the HAM contract, including the construction portion, would arise at the time of issue of invoice or receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. That is, for a normal service, what is the time limit that will apply? If the invoice is issued on or before the specified date or the date of completion of event specified in the contract, whichever is applicable. If invoices itself are not issued on or before the specified date or the date of completion of the event specified in the contract, tax liability would arise on the date of provision of service. When will the time of supply arise? It will arise on the date of provision of service if you do not issue the invoice within time. It is also clarified that the installments or annuity payable by NHAI to the concessioner also includes some interest component. the amount of such interest shall also be includable in the taxable value for the purpose of payment of tax. So what they are trying to say is, what is the time limit? When should you issue the invoice? If you have issued the invoice on completion of an event as per the contract, then that will be the time of supply. If you do not issue it, then the time limit will be the date of provision of service. So before the due date of payment of the contract, in case of continuous supply, when should we raise the invoice? In case of there is a due date of payment for the contract before that date. So if you raise the invoice that point of time, then it is correct. Otherwise, it will go back to the date of provision of service. Okay. Yeah, and the interest, yes, interest is also inclusive because in the last line they've said, no, they sometimes pay the interest also. That will also be includable in the taxable value based on 15(2)(d), which says that similar to the other question which somebody else was asking, what happens to the interest? Interest also will be added to the principal supply itself. Okay, so let's proceed with input tax. Any questions on input tax credit? Section 16, have you totally understood it? The 6 conditions to claim it. These are the 6 conditions which we had discussed. This conditions you will have to remember. Possession of tax paying document, appearance in GSTR-2B, actual receipt of goods, ITC should not be restricted, tax levied on supply should be actually paid to the government, and you should claim ITC by filing GSTR-3B. These are the 6 conditions. Even if even if one condition is not met, your eligibility for ITC would be gone. You cannot claim the credit. Okay. So if this is clear, then I'm happy that section 16, if you have understood the ITC mostly. Now other complications will come, but since our base is strong, we can proceed further. We were discussing on this where the goods against which invoice is received in one shot, but the goods are received in lots. Okay. Then what will happen? You will take the credit only upon receipt of the last lot. Okay. And when you make payment to your vendors who has supplied goods to you, he's given you an invoice. Can you just see the impact of this? I will share an example so we can understand the importance of this very much, wherein payment is to be made within 180 days. Supplier A, is supplied goods 10,000 rupees. GST he will charge 1,800 rupees. Okay. He's charged you this and paid to the government. When will he make this payment to the government? Say if he is supplied on 1st of April 2024. When will he make payment to the government? And as soon as he sells to me, I will not make the payment to him because I will have 60 days credit period. Yes, good afternoon, Komal. So what is the, when will he make payment to the government? Come on, my screen is visible and my question is clear, right? By 30th September. Why so late, Sanya? Once you make a sale, shouldn't you pay GST on monthly basis? Vismita has given a correct answer, 20th of the next month. Why June, Shruti? Oh my God. 30th October, 30th May. I'm just asking you, what is the due date of payment to the government? 20th May. Correct. Correct, Hardik and Pranav. It is simple. By the 20th of May 2024, you will make the payment. October, June, September. Where are you getting these creative dates from? Okay. So 20th May is the date when you make the payment to the government. Now, once you make the payment, now supplier A is supplying it to Mr. B. Now, from B's perspective, customer, that is the person who's buying it, for him it is a ITC, correct? Now, he will show what is sales of A will be purchases for B. So, he will show purchase of 10,000 rupees. Now, he will claim ITC because supplier has uploaded and he's paid the taxes. He is uploading in his GSTR1 and it is appearing in the customer's GSTR2B. He has claimed 1,800 rupees. Now, 60 days credit payment, what has to be made? This person has not made on time. He's made payment after 190 days. Okay. So now what should B do is this provision saying here that payment to be made to the supplier within 180 days from the date of issue of invoice. From the date of issue of invoice, he has to make the payment. April, approximate 180 days comes as April, May, June, July, August, September. By 30th September, he has to make the payment. Okay. Now he's made the payment in October because 190 days will be 1st of October. So will this have any implications for A? Because he's already paid the taxes to the government. So can he get refund from the government saying that I have made the payment, but my customer has not made any payment to me? Yes. What do you say? Others? No need to reverse ITC. ITC तो A claim ही नहीं कर रहा है ना सानिया. A is only charging. I am asking whatever he's paid to the government, should he get it back? No, sir. But B will have to refund the ITC along with interest of 10 days. No, from suppliers A perspective, we are only talking about suppliers A. Then we'll come to customer B. From A's perspective, what do you think? He can't ask anything from the government because he has completed his job. He has discharged the tax to the government. Correct? Now, customer B who has not made the payment within 180 days, this person, he will have to reverse the credit on when? On 30th September itself. Because as on 30th September, he's not received the payment. He has not received the payment. So on that, uh, customer is not received, that's fine. But receiver who has claimed the credit, he has not made the payment within 180 days. So he will have to reverse the credit on 30th September. Once he reverses the credit, will A get something then? He will not get anything. Correct? तो फिर ये reverse क्यों करना चाहिए? Either he should get the benefit or the government should get the benefit by reversing. Is the customer, is the supplier getting anything? Because supplier has not received the money and he has paid the GST also. So he will have to get something. But unfortunately, when supplier A sells to customer B, B will have to reverse the credit and A will not get anything. A's responsibility was to sell it and discharge the tax to the government. He's discharged it. But the customer, if he doesn't pay, he will reverse the credit. What will happen? Impact of this when he reverses the credit, that much tax will effectively go to the government because he was supposed to claim lot of credit. From that credit, this 1,800 he will reduce. So he is impacted by 1,800. So he will reverse the credit and say once he made the payment on 190th day, then he will re-avail the credit on the 10th of October because 10th of October he has made the payment. So this is called claiming the credit first. He will claim it and he will reverse the credit on the 180th day and then re-avail the credit once he makes the payment. How it will confirm if customer paid or not? From his payment, from his accounts, he has to check that whether he's made the payment or no. The government will not interfere at the every instance. You have to do a self-assessment. When you are claiming the credit, it is your responsibility to reverse the credit also.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, actually, you said purchase and sales has to be tallied. Purchase will be reflected in GST 2B when the supplier records his sales. So in this
Correct.
case, the supplier has recorded the sales and he has paid the GST also, but the customer is not paying the amount. So
Correct.
when he is reversing the ITC, will it not disturb the supplier's GST also?
No, it doesn't affect, because the reversal, what we do is the reversal which I will do in my returns. I will not mention that this is the GSTN number to whom I've not paid, so I'm reversing it. He will just do a simple mathematical reversal. It will not affect the supplier's GSTN at all.
Okay, sir. So even
Only
if it doesn't pay, once he has reserved reverse means then he has to pay anyway before the annual return has been filed.
not
It is
necessary in the monthly returns itself. Once he files, he on the 30th September's return, that is the September's month's return, when he files it, there is a column called reversal. So he will have to do that reversal from the total credit over there.
okay. Sir, no, you said that, sir, but I'm asking once if he did not even pay to the supplier, if the amount
Hmm.
is not even paid to the supplier,
Hmm.
even at the end of the annual return, and now
Hmm.
the person is going to file the annual return, the
Hmm.
total turnover. So in this case, how will the government or anyone will catch that he has not paid that amount, or
See, the government
will the
will not.
auditor, okay, or will the auditor will catch that he has reversed the amount and he has not paid?
So there is something called as a credit period. So whenever there are some reports in the accounting software itself, which gives that what is the outstanding dues for the invoices and for how many days. So from that, we can come to know, as on any date, what is the outstanding, which is less than 6 months, less than 30 days, more than 30 days, less than 90 days, more than 90 days, less than 180 days, more than 180 days. So those
Okay, you
cases
mean
where it is
aging,
more than
sir?
180, aging analysis.
Okay, okay, sir.
So from the aging, you can get to know that whether you have made payment to the customer or your supplier
Okay,
or
sir. Thank you, sir.
you. Correct, Bhaskar. Once he reverses, then this reavailment, there is no time limit. For claiming the credit, we have the time limit of November. But once you reverse it, then to reclaim, there is no time limit. And no interest also is available because you're reavailing it now. So government has to give the interest. You should not give any interest. What you have done, you have availed it and you have reversed it. So you have not taken any benefit. So there's no question of you paying any interest. Clear? Can reavail the ITC on September return on October? No, no. This is reavailing on the October's return in November, because September's transactions for the month of September has to be done. September's data will go into October's return. October transactions will go in October's return, which you will file on 20th November. So transactions for the month will have to be in that month itself. Up to 30th September, correct. So since he is reavailing the credit on October, in the October month's return, he will have to show it. Okay, shall we proceed further? Any doubts on this? This is very important. You will get tricky questions on this. But if your basics are strong, that's why I'm spending a lot of time on and making you understand the basics. ITC is not automatically reversed. As of now, the portal does not have that facility. You will have to manually reverse it. Automatic reversal doesn't happen because when you have made the payment, the system doesn't know. So that's why it will not do a automatic reversal. Okay. And then if it is paid later than 180 days, then reverse the credit by adding it in your output tax and pay interest at 18% for the delay. For if you have availed it and utilized it, then you have to pay interest also. And then once you re-avail it, then you can reclaim it. For that, there are three exceptions: reverse charge mechanism, deemed supply without consideration, and addition which is made to supplier's liability, which is incurred by the recipient. Okay, because in reverse charge, you are only claiming the credit. So in reverse charge cases, this will not apply. Second is in case of deemed supplies without consideration, there also there is no consideration involvement, so this will not apply. And addition which is made to the supplier's liability being incurred by the recipient, which you have already paid, for that also this will not apply. Okay. ITC on capital goods, this we have discussed. If you have claimed depreciation, then on the full value, can't claim GST. But if you have claimed only on the cost value and on the GST portion you have not claimed, then you can claim input tax credit on that GST on the capital goods. By when you can claim the credit? It is my credit, so can I claim it anytime? No. I should claim it by the 30th of November following the end of the financial year to which such invoice or debit note pertains, or the date of furnishing annual return, whichever is earlier. Okay. So you have to see independent dates for invoice and independent date for debit note. For this, I have a question here. Superstar Limited. Can someone read this question? Can someone raise your hand? So you'll be getting an opportunity to read it. Any volunteers? Yes, Jinky. Please read the question. We can't hear you. Okay, Tanya, you can read.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Sir, read करें?
Please.
Superstar Limited delivered a machine to Little Superstar Limited in January 2019 under invoice number 640 dated 28 January 2019 for rupees 10 lakh plus GST at the rate 18% and undertook trial runs and calibration of the machine as per the requirements of Little Superstar Limited. The amount chargeable for the post-delivery activities was covered in a debit note raised in April 2019 for rupees 1 lakh plus GST at the rate 18%. The company has filed its annual return for financial year 18-19 on 10th November 2019. Determine the time limit for taking ITC for the amount of tax covered in debit note as well as original invoice.
Thank you. Thank you. So what is the time limit up till which they can claim credit on this invoice first?
20th November.
20th November. Where did you get 20th November from? Full, tell me the year as well. 20th November.
शायद सर वो आईटीसी के लिए है।
हाँ, आईटीसी के लिए बोल रहे हैं हम तो। तो
सर पता नहीं।
सिंपल है। एक मैं फिर से पिछले साइड चला जाता हूँ, जहाँ पे हमने बताया था रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन जिसको इनवॉइस मिला है वो कब तक क्लेम कर सकता है? 30th नवंबर
30th
या डेट ऑफ फर्निशिंग एनुअल रिटर्न विच एवर इज अर्लियर। ये टाइम पीरियड तक वो क्लेम कर सकता है। ठीक है, तो आपको दोनों डेट देखना पड़ेगा। आप हर केस में 30th नवंबर अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते हो। ठीक है, तो या फिर 30th नवंबर या फिर एनुअल रिटर्न विच एवर इज अर्लियर। तो इस केस में जनवरी का इनवॉइस है। जनवरी कौन से साल का है?
2019।
तो फाइनेंशियल ईयर कौन सा हुआ?
1920।
अरे बाप रे,
नहीं, 1819 सर।
अरे बाप रे, करेक्ट है।
हाँ जी सर,
कौन?
फाइनेंशियल ईयर 1819 ही होगा जनवरी के लिए तो सर।
करेक्ट, तो फाइनेंशियल ईयर 1819 ही है। तो 1819 फाइनेंशियल ईयर का कौन सा कब तक क्लेम कर सकता है क्रेडिट?
30th नवंबर और एनुअल रिटर्न विचएवर इज अर्लियर।
30th नवंबर 2019
19
और
एनुअल रिटर्न जब
एनुअल रिटर्न
फाइल
का डेट कब फाइल किया है इसने?
10th नवंबर।
तो 30th नवंबर और 10th नवंबर विच एवर इज अर्लियर।
यस, 10th
करेक्ट,
नवंबर।
so
यस।
10th November. The time limit to claim ITC on this invoice will be 10th November.
यस सर।
ठीक है, लेकिन यहाँ पे डेबिट नोट भी रेस किया हुआ है। डेबिट नोट कब रेस किया गया है?
डेबिट नोट रेज इन अप्रैल 2019।
करेक्ट, सो अप्रैल 2019 उसका कौन सा फाइनेंशियल ईयर हो जाएगा?
उसका 1920 होगा।
करेक्ट, तो उसका डेट जो है विल बी अगेन कौन सा डेट? 30th नवंबर।
30th नवंबर
पूरा साल बोलिए आप। 30th नवंबर
2020।
2020।
30th नवंबर सर नेक्स्ट ईयर।
30th नवंबर 2020 या 2021?
सर 20।
20 या 19?
सर 20।
हाँ, कॉन्फिडेंट हो आप?
हाँ जी सर।
तो फिर कॉन्फिडेंटली बोलिए। सो 1920 का
हाँ जी।
मार्च 20 में खत्म होता है, तो फिर 30th नवंबर 2020
20।
और डेट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल फाइलिंग एनुअल रिटर्न विच इज 30th December, तो इट शुड बी 30th November. सो टाइम लिमिट फॉर टेकिंग डेबिट नोट विल बी 30th December फिर।
सर ये 30th दिसंबर वाला पॉइंट तो नहीं आया समझ।
गलत है ना?
30th। हाँ जी सर।
तो ये
वो
है
30th नवंबर होना चाहिए था।
करेक्ट, 30th November होना चाहिए।
यस सर।
ठीक है, सो डेबिट नोट
यस।
का आप डेबिट नोट डेट देखेंगे और इनवॉइस का इनवॉइस डेट देखेंगे। दैट इज व्हाट आई वांट टू हाईलाइट हियर।
ओके सर।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सर।
So this will be 30th November 2020.
इवनिंग सर।
Yes, good evening, Preeti.
सर ये जो इसमें 30th नवंबर और एनुअल डेट जो कंसिडरेशन किया है हमने टैक्स के लिए, सो वी हैव टू कंसिडर सेम फॉर डेबिट नोट आल्सो।
Correct. So let's say for this debit note of April 2019, we are considering the 30th November of 2019 or the date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, आपने हैंड रेज किया था, कुछ और क्वेश्चन है?
No, sir.
ओके, थैंक यू. Okay. So this we understood. Now we'll see how does this credit flow in our returns. Okay. So this is not part of your study material thing, but for us to understand things, we have to do practically. Unless we do practically, things will not appear to us. It will only become theoretical. And I don't want to be theoretical in my approach. So we will go and see how the GST portal works. So I've taken screenshot because I cannot log in and show it to you because clients information are there. So I've taken the screenshots of how things work. Few of you may be aware of it and few who are not aware, to help them, I'll show you this. So what happens is when you log in to your GST portal, how will you get the login? You will register. Once you register, you will get the login ID and password. With that login ID and password, you have to log in to the GST portal, which is called as gst.gov.in. Once we do log into the portal, there are various options. One of the options, it starts with a dashboard. Dashboard is the place, the first place where all your other submenus are opened up. So one of the submenu is returns. So you go to the returns, select the financial year, select the quarter, and select the period. That is, select the exact month in the year which you want to file the return for. So once you click the respective month, a detailed again submenu appears, which is first is GSTR1. GSTR1 is, as we know, details of outward supplies of goods or services, which is covered in GSTR1. Then amendment. So once you make any mistakes in your one, you can rectify it through another return called GSTR1A. Okay. This we'll have to see whether it is covered in your syllabus or no, because this is a new addition. If you get this as a statutory update, then this will become relevant, but it will not be relevant otherwise. Third option you get is auto drafted ITC statement for the month, which is GSTR2B. So this will appear for you here. And auto drafted IT statement for the quarter, GSTR2B quarterly view. So they're giving you a two view of the same report. Then monthly return in GSTR3B. And then auto drafted details will also come in GSTR2A. So two options are available. Okay. Mahi, I'll explain this, then I'll come to your doubt. So this is how it appears: GSTR1, 1A, 2B, two kinds of views for 2B, 3B, and GSTR2A. Now we'll explore this. So once I click on view of GSTR1, then what will appear? You will get a GSTR1 filing facility, wherein you will have to mention the details of outward supply of goods or services. So what we will mention, we'll only mention the outward supply of the goods or services. So we'll start with all this B2B, SEZ, these invoices. So invoice wise, we have to give separate reporting because all cannot be cluttered in one place. So it is systemized by giving different kinds of transactions. If it is B2B, it will come here. If it is B2C, it will come here. Exports will come here. Then B2C others. So like that, there is classification. So you will mention all your sales in your GSTR1. Okay. And you also have an option over here called as IFF. What is this IFF? इनवॉइस फर्निशिंग फैसिलिटी, करेक्ट. फुल फॉर्म तो आपने बता दिया, बट व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ आईएफएफ? Invoice furnishing facility for quarterly return monthly payment filers. So they are special category of filers. They are called as QRMP filers. So QRMP filers will file the returns on a quarterly basis, but interim for monthly people who want to get the credit, they will file a IFF. Okay. So IFF will be the facility or GSTR1. You will upload all your outward sales here, right? And this will be the detail of your GSTR1. So you will have to file it by the 11th of the subsequent month. For September, we are filing it by the 11th of October. That is GSTR1. Once you file this, you'll go back to the dashboard and your GSTR1 is filed now. Next, what you will do as a timeline flow, once GSTR1 is filed and frozen, you will file it by the due date, which is 11th. And based on that, your your vendors from whom you are buying, they will also file GSTR1, because like how you are making sales from the person whom you have bought the goods or taken services, he will also file GSTR1. So all of that GSTR1 gets added up and it comes to you in a report called GSTR2B. So what is this 2B? We'll click on this view. You will go to the GSTR2B, which is a auto drafted ITC statement. The second condition we were saying, right? That your credit should appear in GSTR2B. Okay. So supplier will file GSTR1 and it will appear in your GSTR2B. So again, this is the September month. Date of generation, it is on the 14th of October. All your ITC, which you have supplied, made by registered suppliers, will come as a credit to you. Then supplies from ISD, supplies liable to reverse charge, import of goods, all of these details will come in GSTR 2B. So this is the credit which will information, which is a amount which can be claimed as a credit. Can you claim fully? No, we cannot claim. So when will we claim it? We will claim it once we verify this with our actual input, what we have, and then we can claim it in our GSTR 3B. So what is this? Just numbers are there. I do not have invoice wise details. By clicking on this arrow, you can get the invoice wise details. We are clicking on this arrow, which will break it up saying how much is B2B invoices, how much is debit note, what are the other e-commerce documents. If there any amendment in the invoices, all of this will get broken up. Okay. Then there is, what is this? This is completely B2B invoices. Then I will go to B2B invoices and see that these are the suppliers who has supplied to me. So I have bought some goods from them or I have taken some services. So these guys are suppliers. They are my suppliers. They have supplied to me. This is the invoice date and I'm getting the credit of this. Okay. Then if you see on the right hand side, something is there. What is this? Just click on the right. It will take you to other transactions, because on the left hand side, you see that only invoice value is there, but you need the tax value. So here is the breakup. You will get the taxable value. What is the kind of tax? In this case, they have charged integrated tax, and here they are charging central tax. Okay, so you're getting the breakup here. हेलो. कुछ मैसेज आया है कि सेशन स्टॉप करना है अभी. आपने भी BOS LVC स्क्रीनशॉट भेजता हूँ, देखिए।
Recording stopped.
मिला आपको इमेज? चैट में BOS LVC आपका नहीं है? ओके, रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप हो गया इसीलिए बोल रहा
Recording in progress.
हूँ। ठीक है। So what will happen in your GSTR 2B is, in your 2A is that you will get the invoice level detail. BOS LVC कुछ स्पैम है क्या? Shruti Kumari, what notification you have received?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Some students are not running from proper name.
निसर्ग आपसे
Sir, stop the recording, sir. Because some students are not running from proper name. Some students are not running from proper name. Why you 20G like that? Some students are not running from proper name, like why you 20G. So, stop the recording. Some students are not running from proper name. Some students are not running from proper name, like why you 20G. Uh, something like that. Why 20 participant?
सर वो बोल रहे Vivo 20G कोई है, ठीक नाम से ज्वाइन नहीं किया, सो उसको आप देखिए ना। ओके, ठीक, ओके, ओके, कि वो Vivo G20 को निकालने के लिए बोल रहा है, बिकॉज वो अनम्यूट भी नहीं कर रहा है। ठीक है, सो वी वर डिस्कसिंग ऑन द इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट, कि हाउ इट अपियर्स एंड हाउ वी हैव टू सी इट। तो GSTR 2A में you will see the credit appearing, and based on that you will do it. So your input tax credit will appear in your GSTR 2B. Based on this you will check, and then you will go back to GSTR 3B. Now in GSTR 1, 1A and then 2B, what appears, 1 is only your filing, and GSTR 1A is the amendment to the GSTR 1. So once you have filed your return, then you have to amend it. Okay. So if you want to amend, you can amend it by GSTR 1. Then you have to come to GSTR 2B. In GSTR 2B, you will see what is the credit. Then you will go to your GSTR 3B. In GSTR 3B, what will happen? Whatever we have supplied in 1, the summary of that sales you will file in GSTR 3B, and whatever input tax credit you have in 2B, that you will consider in as an input tax credit in GSTR 3B. So you will go to your GSTR 3B. From there, you will specify these details. What is the tax on your outward supplies and reverse charge inward supply? Okay. So you will mention this detail of outward supplies, and whatever you have mentioned in GST1, ideally that total should come here and the tax payable. Any supplies notified under 9(5) by a e-commerce operator, any interstate supplies, then your eligible ITC you will mention. So whatever is appearing in 2B, don't put it by blindly. Claim, check your books of returns, books of accounts. If it is matching, then mention it in your eligible ITC column. Then column number 5, exempt nil rate and non-GST inward supplies, and interest and late fees. So by this, what is happening, whatever you did in 1, that will come here, and whatever you are claiming in 2B, that will also add up over here. So once you do that, that will become your final return. Okay, this is how the mechanism of GSTR 1, GSTR 2B, and GSTR 3B is made. Now, whatever credit you have over here in your returns, we said that if it is filed in our returns and it is appearing here, that you are showing it in your input tax credit, that will come in our electronic credit ledger. Okay. Now, in this case, if you see, I have shown you this for the month of September. This is the tax which has to come, but that is not coming. Why? Because that is not yet submitted. So, which means that until you submit your returns, your credit will not come in your electronic credit ledger. So you have to file your returns. To file your returns, you have to pay if there's any output tax liability. If there is some liability and you have not paid, then you cannot get the credit of it. You have to pay the tax, only then you can file your returns. And once you file your returns, your credit will come in your electronic credit ledger. This is how your credit ledger appears, saying what is the transaction you have done. So this is on the 24th September. I have filed the return for July 24. Then the credit comes in. And I have utilized something in the same return that will again get debited. So the credit, what you claim will get credited, and from the credit, what you are utilizing for payment will get debited. Okay? Clear till now? Correct, Anirudh. We are only filing GSTR 1 and 3B. 2B comes after collecting data provided by our suppliers. Right. Okay. So this is how the returns happen. Now, if you see in your study material, for debit note, they have mentioned a special note. Okay. What it says is, in section 16.4, it is mentioned that in the case of debit note, the date of issuance of debit note is to be considered and not the underlying invoice. Correct? What does that mean? It means that in our example also, I will explain with that. When you consider the due date by which you have to take the credit for the debit note, you don't have to see the invoice basis which you are filing the debit note. Like this example, earlier what used to happen, 20th January 2019 was the date of the invoice. So debit note was linked to this. So you can claim credit for the debit note also by 10th of June, 10th of November 2019 was the provision earlier. But now that has been relaxed, and now it is saying that debit note and invoice will be seen independently. To claim the credit on the debit note, you will see the date of the debit note and not date of the original invoice basis which you are doing the debit note now. So you have to see the date of the debit note independent of the date of the invoice. That is what this provision is saying. And that is what we have learned also. Date of debit note, you have to see the date of debit note and find the due date up to which you can claim the credit. Correct. We have to treat debit note separately only because debit note is for some invoice, but your time limit for that debit note shouldn't matter. The original invoice should not matter. What is the date of your debit note? Only that should be considered. Okay. Understood the portal view also. Did you get any clarity now from the portal view? Very good. Bhumika, when we file the return, no, in the GSTR 3B, I have not done a detail there. There itself, we have a column for reversal. It is called 4B2. Okay, 4B, 4C, 4D, like that. You have various columns there. There you will have to reverse it. Very nice. We'll take a break here. I'll just log off so that whatever, if there's any bugs, should not come here. So we'll, correct, very nice. So we'll take a break of 10 minutes and come back. So let's continue. Okay. Apportionment of credit. So we have understood section 16. Now we'll go to section 17, which is on apportionment of credit and block credit. Everything we have read that all kinds of credits are available, but now 17 is coming and creating a showstopper here. It's saying no, all your credits will not be available because I have come. I will give you a list of block credits and I will block your credit. Like, firstly, section 17 says that all your input tax credit which you are using for your business, if it is wholly claimable, if it is completely used for business, and if it is used for zero rated supplies also, both of this is claimable. But if you use it for non-taxable supply or if you use for exempt supply, then your credit is not claimable. So input tax credit, if you use for business, available only when there is a taxable supply and there is a zero rated supply. But if it is a non-taxable supply and an exempt supply, you cannot claim the credit. Second, if you use the input for non-business purposes, matlab for personal purposes, then also credit is not claimable. So in these three instances, credit is not claimable. In two instances, credit are claimable. It is not necessary that you should make your sales today itself. If it is used in the business and the sales are happening later on, because it doesn't say that for which you're generating revenue, for which you have earned money, for which you're making supplies today, or you're making supply this month or this year. None of those words have been used. So as long as you use it for your business and it is that business is making a wholly taxable supply, you can claim the credit. Now, what do you mean by zero rated supply? We know what is zero rated supply. The definition of zero rated is exports and supply to SEZ is zero rated supply. So, if I make export of services, is the credit claimable or no? Firstly, is there any tax payable or no for export of services? And is the input tax credit claimable or no? No tax for export. Very fast, Komal. Second question, is the credit claimable? Right. No tax payable. Pranav, you're also right. Yes, we can claim it. Zero rated, no tax payable, but ITC claimable. Correct. So that's the beauty of zero rated supply, because exempt also it's of the same nature. You don't pay any tax. Zero rated also you don't pay tax. But zero rated ITC you cannot claim. For exempted ITC you cannot claim. But for zero rated, the best part is you can claim the ITC. Correct. So it applies when I say export, it is both exports of goods and export of services. How will we get ITC for zero rated products, Komal? The nature of ITC and the nature of zero rated supply is designed in such a way that you make your sales, but you can claim the ITC also. But for exempted, it will still appear all in your GSTR 2A, 2B. You should not claim it. So all of this is your action. It is not that somebody will block you. When we are making any supplies, we have to decide it. We as a businessman or we as a consultant for that businessman, we will have to see what is the outward supply he's doing. Based on that, we have to decide whether ITC can be claimed or not. Okay. Very good question, Shruti. What if I'm doing partly taxable, partly exempted? Proportionately, you can claim to the extent what it is taxable. To the extent what it is not taxable, you cannot claim. Correct. Alcohol, tobacco on which GST is applicable, and also alcohol. So proportionate, I can claim. Correct. How do we know that the item which is purchased is used for personal use? As some companies purchase the item on the basis of company's GST. Correct. Very practical question, Preeti. When you purchase, you don't know. But if it is not consumed for businesses, then you know. So by the nature of the expense itself, we can get to know. Because when you get some expenses, how do you account it? When you account it itself, you know that this is for staff welfare, which means the employees have consumed it and you have not put it in your business promotion expenses. If you put it in your business promotion expenses, then you know that it is consumed for the business purposes. By the nature of the accounting itself, we know it. Now, how will the officers get to know? They will get to know only when they do a adjudication and audit. Till then, you have to do your self-assessment and decide this. That's where the law is presented. Law is common for you and for the officers. We will have to analyze the law. That is where the opportunity comes for consultants, because businesses, companies who do manufacturing training activities, they are not interested in the law. But we have interest in the law. We are readers of the law. We are interpreting the law in such a deep, detailed manner. So we should help the businesses to identify, saying that put systems in place. We should help them to put systems in place so that if such expenses are there, then you straight away don't claim the credit. Okay. Zero rated means zero tax, 0% tax. Then no GST will be available on goods. Nahi, Komal, see, you can unmute so that we can discuss this. See, zero rated supply means my sales or my exports, what I make, on that, there is no tax payable. Fine. But I have input tax credit. So I would have purchased 10 different raw materials, manufactured it and exported it. So on this export, there is no tax. It is zero rated. But for the raw materials, what I've purchased, on that, I can claim the credit.
Understood, sir.
Same example. I have bought 10 products. I have manufactured and I have sold for which the rate is zero. Say some products are there, rate classification is there. Now that is exempted supply. Same scenario like how I did export. Here also I'm not charging any tax. But here the law is saying, since you're making exempted supplies, you should reverse your input tax credit. You should not claim the credit which you are directly using for these exempted goods.
Okay, understood, sir.
What was your doubt?
Sir, actually, that's what my doubts. Zero rated supply means I thought that zero rated goods are purchased and the zero rated goods are exported. So I thought like that, but I was wrong, sir. It was as you said, example, the manufacturing can be so many items and we can claim ITC on that. And at the time of export, there is no ITC available.
There is no, at the time of export, there is no tax payable, but ITC is available.
Sorry, tax paid. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Tanya, your doubt also is same. Is it clarified? बर्डन तो नहीं है ना किसी के ऊपर. बर्डन हटाने के लिए ही एक्सपोर्ट को जीरो रेटेड कहा गया है.
Yes, yes. While we purchasing the raw material, the GST will be paid by the manufacturer, and the
He will
GST.
pay. Correct. He will not pay. He will collect it, because when you are buying from a manufacturer will charge in his invoice.
Yes, sir.
You are a exporter. You are buying from a manufacturer. Okay. जब मैन्युफैक्चरर आपको बिल देगा तब आप उसको जीएसटी पे तो करोगे ना.
Yes, sir.
So manufacturer is not at a loss. He is charging, he is collecting from you and paying to the government.
Okay.
करेक्ट. तो उसको भी लॉस नहीं हुआ
Yes,
और
sir.
आपको भी लॉस नहीं होगा बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग एनी एक्सपोर्ट दिस इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट बिकॉज मैन्युफैक्चरर हैज चार्ज यू जीएसटी यू हैव द इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. अब आप इस इनपुट टैक्स का क्या करोगे?
सर उससे जो हमने जीएसटी पे किया तो उसे सेट ऑफ कर देंगे.
लेकिन पे तो है ही नहीं यहाँ पे बिकॉज आप एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हो जीरो रेटेड पे, तो पेएबल कुछ आएगा ही नहीं.
नहीं सर, जब हमने मैन्युफैक्चरर से उसको लिया होगा तब जीएसटी दिया होगा ना.
अब उसका क्या करोगे आप?
सर देखो, जब हमने मैन्युफैक्चरर से गुड्स परचेज किए होंगे तब हमने उन गुड्स पे जीएसटी पे किया होगा उस मैन्युफैक्चरर को. बट ऑन दैट जीएसटी वी क्लेम द आईटीसी फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट.
कैसे क्लेम करोगे?
गवर्नमेंट से.
गवर्नमेंट क्या करेगी उस आईटीसी का लेके?
नहीं सर, देगी ना. हम क्लेम
करेक्ट.
करेंगे ना.
रिफंड क्लेम करेंगे.
यस सर.
करेक्ट. तो सिर्फ एक्सपोर्ट के केस में आप रिफंड क्लेम कर सकते हो
हाँ
और
जी.
एसईजेड को सप्लाई करते हो तब आप रिफंड क्लेम कर सकते हो.
यस सर.
ये क्वेश्चन मैं क्यों पूछ रहा हूँ? क्योंकि मेरे पास इतने सारे आईटीसी है. मेरे पास एटलीस्ट 1 करोड़ के इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट है और मेरे सप्लाई कुछ नहीं हो रही है. तो फिर क्या मैं मेरा 1 करोड़ का रिफंड क्लेम कर सकता हूँ गवर्नमेंट से?
अगर हम एक्सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं तो
हाँ, एक्सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा हूँ.
तब तो नहीं कर पाएंगे ना सर.
करेक्ट. तो वही डिस्टिंक्शन करना था कि अगर मेरे पास आईटीसी इतना क्लेमेबल है मेरे रिकॉर्ड्स में, फिर भी मैं उसका रिफंड नहीं कर सकता हूं अनलेस मैं एक्सपोर्ट करूंगा या एसईजेड को सप्लाई करता हूं.
यस सर.
Hardik, like how we have 44AB, yeah, we have a GST annual return and reconciliation statement, which is called GSTR 9 is the annual return and GSTR 9C is the annual reconciliation. It is not akin to 44AB, it is little different. But yes, there is something called as a GST annual return and audit. The negative part about this is, at least in 44AB, you need a chartered accountant to certify it. But in GSTR 9 and 9C, there is no certification required by a chartered accountant. It has to be self-certified by the taxpayer itself. But however, the expertise of a chartered accountant is not lost. So even today, we see that during the December month, we still get a lot of requests for getting the books of accounts checked for GST purposes. They're saying that, okay, you don't certify, but you check and file my GSTR 9 and 9C. So that exposure for doing the annual returns and reconciliation statements still there as an expertise with a chartered accountant. Kavita Kulla, sale to exports, whether we can claim ITC? हाँ, there is a special clause. वो आपके इंटर में नहीं है, but since you are curiously asking me this question, there is something called as a deemed export. When I supply to a export-oriented unit, when I supply to a person who is claiming foreign trade policy ka benefits, then still I can claim the benefit. So deemed export के cases में भी I can claim the ITC. Yes, Hardik, this is a flaw in the law that you can claim any ITC. But yes, government has tracked down such cases through their investigation that they will simply inflate their ITC and just claim refund. So government, when they give refund, they will do a check. That time they will get to know. And overall system is, yeah, it is flawed. That's why you would have heard in news that lot of crores of rupees has been claimed as refund, fraudulent way of passing on the credit. Those things are there, but Government is trying to bring in a lot of checks, e-way bill, e-invoicing. Those things are the ways to reduce it. Okay. So now blocked credit. Block credit section 17, subsection 5. Till now, what we read was section 17, 1 and 2. 3 and 4 also is part of it. 17.5 says that if you use for your business, still credits are not available. So 17.5 says that your made purchases appearing in your GSTR to be all the conditions of 16 you have satisfied. Fine, boss. But I will not give you credit of certain items. I will not give credit because credits are not available even if it is used for business, and all other credits will be available. Now, what is this 17.5? It is a list of items. It's saying that these items, even if you use for your purchase, for your business, use it for your business, I will not give credit for you. Now, the logic could be that yes, these will be misused. That's why these items are blocked. इसके ऊपर आपको credit नहीं मिलेगा. Simple है. What are these items? First is ineligible ITC on vehicles, planes, and ships. So, when you make any purchase of motor vehicles carrying persons having seating capacity less than 13 people, okay? If you have any motor vehicles carrying persons having seating capacity less than 13 people, with driver counting करना पड़ेगा, 13 people with driver, तो फिर वो नॉर्मल कार हो जाती है. मोर देन 13 इट मीन इट्स अ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ पैसेंजर व्हीकल, उसके ऊपर आपको मिल जाएगा क्रेडिट. लेकिन अप टू 13 पीपल वाली जो मोटर व्हीकल होगी उसका क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा. एंड ऑल एयरक्राफ्ट आर वेजल्स. ऑन दीज थ्री थिंग्स व्हेन यू परचेज यू विल नॉट गेट द क्रेडिट. ठीक है, परचेज का आप क्रेडिट मत दीजिए, लेकिन मेरा ईयर ऑन ईयर इंश्योरेंस है, रिपेयर कॉस्ट है, उसका दीजिए, नहीं, उसका भी नहीं मिलेगा. So whatever vehicles you purchase, whatever aircraft and vessels you purchase, on that you will not get the credit. ठीक है. डायरेक्टर है, कंपनी का डायरेक्टर है, उसने कार खरीद ली पर्सनल यूज के लिए, वो ऑफिस से घर भी पर्सनल कार में आता है और ऑफिस से मीटिंग जाने के लिए वो कार यूज करता है, तब तो क्रेडिट मिलना चाहिए. मिलना चाहिए या नहीं? व्हाट डू यू फील? नहीं मिलेगा. मैं तो घर से ऑफिस भी मेरे पर्सनल कार में आ रहा हूँ, सिर्फ ऑफिस से मीटिंग, वो भी सिर्फ बिजनेस मीटिंग जाके फिर आ रहा हूँ. भूमिका बोल रही यस, क्रेडिट मिलेगा. कसक ये तो बिजनेस के लिए ही है. सब लोग मेरे खिलाफ है, सब लोग बोल रहे क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा. ओके, जैसे सब लोग कह रहे हैं, मैं भी आपकी बात मान लेता हूँ. यस, दैट इवन इफ अ डायरेक्टर इज यूजिंग इट प्योरली फॉर बिजनेस, even if a director uses only for his business purposes, still Ajay, he will not get the credit. That is what I was explaining in Hindi, that if a director uses his car only for purely business purposes, still credit will not be available. Okay, but there are exceptions when there is further supply of such motor vehicles or car, that is a car dealer has bought it. Now this car dealer is buying it for what? For further supply. So he will get it because he's not actually using it. He's into trading of this car. The car showroom person, when he buys the car and sells it, similarly, a vessel or aircraft person who buys it and sells it, he is doing the further supply of such car, such motor vehicle, such vessel, such aircraft. He will get it. ठीक है. Or if it is for transportation of passengers, the government या private bus dealer है, वो क्या करेगा बस का? He will use it for transportation of passengers. So such transportation of passengers will be available. Or if it's a driving school, they have to buy a car to put the learners board there and give it for training. They will get the credit. Or any person who is buying such motor vehicle for transportation of goods, a lorry, a goods transport agency, a courier agency, they buy goods for transportation of goods. So these four category of people will get it. Otherwise, others will not get it. Okay, that is one part wherein ITC on purchases and insurance, repairs, maintenance, you will not get it. Four exceptions are: first one, further supply. Second one is in case of transportation of passengers. Third is transportation of goods. Fourth is training. GTA usually leases the transport, so no credit ITC. Correct. If they take it on lease, then of course they will not get the credit, because for them GTA, generally you will get this credit, but because of the rate, Hardik, that they will not get the credit because they're going for 5%. If they're going for 12%, then all the inputs they can claim the credit. Right? Now, this is very important. However, you can still claim ITC on expenses. That is first, this is the first category. These people can get it. Second is a manufacturer of motor vehicle will get it, and supplier of general insurance. These people will get it. For them, it is a trading activity. So for them, you will get it, but otherwise you will not get it. Now there is a amendment which says that buying and general insurance, you will not get it. So I have leased it. Leasing, renting, or hiring of motor vehicles also, you will not get the credit. Arey baap re, बहुत dangerous है ना? That if you lease out the goods also, you will not get it. You are taking a cab on lease, rent, still you will not get the credit. They say there is a company which has provides to all its employees car services. Okay. They are saying we are using it only for business. Why don't you give credit? There also credit will not be available. Then the government came up with the exception which says that, which is used for output of same category, which means a car dealer, a rental person, if he is taking lease from somebody, he will get it. And where it is obligatory, like this example of providing car to the employees, one is a company, a chartered accountant providing car to its employees, it is not obligatory because none of the law says it, neither the CA law says that you have to provide car to the employees. Just as a motivation to the employees, you are providing it. So there also you will not get it. But if it's a BPO is guided by the labor laws of the state, and the government imposes saying that for all your employees who are doing night shift, you have to ensure safety of your employees, you have to provide cab services. There it is obligatory. So once it is obligatory, credit will be applicable. If it is non-obligatory, credit will not be applicable. Clear with this? So first is basic conditions of purchase and thing. Now leasing also will not be available. On leasing, it will be available provided it is obligatory.
Sir,
Yes.
I want to ask one example, sir. Sir, say for example, there is a GTA and he provides the services of a transportation of goods to location A. So, sir, he gives the invoice to the person and he collects the tax from him in FCM 12%. Okay, sir. And he is a registered GTA. So, sir, he has a transport through which he transfers the goods, and that transport is on lease.
That vehicle is on lease.
That vehicle is on lease. So, sir, then
Okay.
also he will not able to claim the ITC.
No, if he's charging 12% Hardik, then he can claim the ITC.
But sir, it is on lease of a vehicle.
Correct. Still, he can claim it because he is into the business of transportation of goods.
So sir, it is an exception.
Correct.
Okay, sir. And sir, any example for use for output of same category?
So, I am into the business of leasing of motor vehicles.
Okay,
I
sir.
run a fleet of cars, not motor, yeah, fleet of cars when I am giving the vehicle for transportation of passengers. Now, you
Okay.
are also into the same business. If there is some shortage, you have a huge requirement for 10 cars, but in your hand, you have only 8 cars, and those have also been occupied. So, you need two more cars. So, you will borrow those 2 cars from me.
Okay, sir.
So, that 2 cars which I give you, on that you are using it for the same category, you will be eligible to claim the credit.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So ITC on vehicles. Somebody was asking, what is the first point, Shruti? Well, thing, if you buy these motor vehicles, you will not get it, is the first point. If a company gets motor vehicle on rent from unregistered person and paid GST on RCM, they will not pay any GST on RCM. No, why will they pay GST on RCM, Nayan Patil? Is there any RCM applicable other than GTA? It is not applicable. So if an unregistered person supply anything, there will not be any tax payable either on forward charge or reverse charge. Yes, Anirudh, your question is very valid that along with buying car, they will give warranty. Now you want extended warranty. So for that extended warranty, also will we get the credit? There is a recent circular which says that yes, on that also you will get the credit because it's in the nature of composite supply. But there are some complications there that if that extended warranty is taken after the end of the year, then you will not get the credit. So the nature of composite supply plays a vital role. When you're buying it at the time of buying the car itself, then it's a composite supply. If you buy it later on, it's not a composite supply, is what the circular says. In case of leasing of vehicle, how can you claim ITC? When you give lease, you're charging lease rental. So that lease rental will be raised along with invoice. So the other person can claim the credit. Just one Sorry. Tanya's question is, if motor vehicle having seats up to 13 and that vehicle taken on lease, in that case also can claim ITC? You cannot claim ITC, no, because leasing, renting, or hiring of motor vehicles is blocked. So apart from purchase, so I'll write it over here. That will be clear. First is purchase, second is general insurances, and third is leasing. So these three things you cannot claim the credit. Let's have added plus sign over here, right? Which is in addition to these two. Not for Hardik, that question was that where credit is available. Now, a person who's taking the transportation on passengers, he can claim it. So that person, when he can claim credit on the purchase, so he can claim credit on the extended warranty also. That way. And from the supplier mainly, because supplier wanted to know that should I charge GST on this extended warranty along with the car or separately? That is where that question had come in. So in case of electric contractor providing electric services, then a vehicle purchased and used for laborers and materials can claim the ITC on the particular vehicle. Not necessary, sir. That is also doubtful because it is not fitting in any of these exceptions. So they are also doubtful. You cannot claim it. ITC on service of insurance, service and repair and maintenance pertaining to such motor vehicles and it will also blocked. Yes, sir. That is also blocked. Three things are blocked, sir. 1, 2, 3, what I've written. Okay. So let's proceed further. Vehicles ka काफी हो गया है. If it is charged separately for warranty, then it can be claimed. Otherwise, no. No. Even otherwise, directly or indirectly, Preeti, you cannot claim it because it is in relation to the motor vehicle itself. So, extended warranty, if you're taken later on also, it will be deemed that it is used for that vehicle. So, you cannot claim it. If motor vehicle purchased for transportation of goods which has less than 13 seats, your question is contradictory. If it is for transportation of goods, then why will it have seats? It should have only 2 seats, one for the driver and one for the PN. Correct? A transportation vehicle which is used for transportation of goods should be yellow board. You cannot use your normal car for transportation of goods. In India, सब कुछ चलता है, that's fine. But if you are using any passenger goods for domestic or transportation of goods movement, it is illegal. Okay. But if you're saying that if motor vehicle purchased for transportation of passengers, which has less than 13 seats, you can claim it because transportation of passengers is an exception, right? Like driving school also, you will buy a car which will be less than 13 seats. Same thing will apply there also. So less than 13 permitted if it is for use of resale, if it is for transportation of passengers, it is for transportation of goods and for training services. येलो बोर्ड ट्रक नहीं, येलो बोर्ड कार भी होता है. जब आप कैब ओला वगैरह बुक करते हो तब उसमें देखिए आप उसके ऊपर येलो बोर्ड ही रहता है. करेक्ट. येलो इज फॉर कमर्शियल पर्पसेस. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट ब्लॉक क्रेडिट है फूड्स एंड बेवरेजेस. फूड एंड बेवरेजेस अगर आप परचेज करते हो बिजनेस प्रमोशन के लिए फिर भी आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा. आपने फॉरेनर्स आ गए उनके लिए आपने लंच अरेंज किया है, स्टिल यू विल नॉट गेट द क्रेडिट. आपके एम्प्लॉयज के लिए अरेंज कर दिया है, स्टिल क्रेडिट विल नॉट बी अवेलेबल. फूड एंड बेवरेज क्रेडिट इज नॉट अवेलेबल. आउटडोर केटरिंग कि आपने ठीक है फूड तो ऑर्डर नहीं किया लेकिन केटरिंग वाले को बोल दिया, उसके ऊपर भी क्रेडिट इज ब्लॉक. सो फूड एंड बेवरेजेस, आउटडोर केटरिंग straight away blocked. Any beauty treatment, that is also blocked. Health services, health insurances, health services, whatever you're taking, that is also blocked. cosmetic and plastic surgery, because these are all in the nature of personal thing itself. Even though a director may use it, a director is always there at the office. He doesn't go home. Still, he should work and he should not get into these beauty treatment and cosmetic and plastic surgery. Whatever justification you may give, this is a blocked credit. Then life insurance and health insurance. There is health services, मतलब डॉक्टर्स के पास जो जाके आप हेल्थ सर्विसेज लेते हो, डायग्नोसिस लेते हो, बिकॉज सर जनरली उसके ऊपर तो एग्जेम्प्टेड है, बट देर इज गोना बी टैक्सेबल, राइट? बिकॉज इफ इट इज मोर देन 5,000 rupees रूम रेंट, दैट विल बिकम टैक्सेबल. सो दैट हेल्थ सर्विसेज, इफ इट इज एग्जेम्प्टेड, ठीक है, आपको क्रेडिट का क्वेश्चन ही नहीं आएगा. If something is taxable, health services, life insurance and health insurance is not available. But for life insurance and health insurance, there is an exception, which says that when such services are used for making taxable outward supply, when you take health insurance and do a reinsurance, okay, you do a reinsurance, then you are into the business of health insurance. So you're taking insurance from somebody else and giving it to somebody else, or a agent. Okay, agent doesn't take anything, he's only involved. But in case of a reinsurance is a good example, that I don't have the capacity to give insurance to you, so I will go to another insurance company, I tell him insure this person, so he will give the insurance to me and I will give insurance to you. So when I'm into the same business, then credit will be available, because I am not taking insurance for me. I am doing it because I'm into this business. Then it will be available. And second exception is when it is a statutory obligation of the employer to provide to the employees. Whereas there is requirement under the Factories Act that if you have more than 50 employees, then you have to take health insurance cover for all your employees. So there is a mandatory obligation under the law. In that case, you can claim the credit. Okay, so only in these two exceptions you can claim the credit. Tell about outward supply. Tanya, konta point? Which point on outward supply? The exception is only for life insurance, health insurance. Yes, this exception, mind you, it's only for life insurance and health insurance, not for all services. For food, outdoor catering, beauty treatment, health services, cosmetic and plastic surgery, इसके लिए available exception नहीं है. If caterer provides catering services to another caterer, then he can claim ITC. No, he cannot claim ITC. That exception is not there. Insurance for staff, nahi milega. Insurance for staffs, you will not get the credit. If the government has said through requirement of any law, then if you're giving insurance for staff, then it will be available. Like IRDA health insurance policy for employee. No. First exception is that services are used for making taxable outward supply of same category. Matlab, we are in the same business, then they can be claiming the credit. Kavita, I didn't get your point. Internet monthly bill. We'll see, no? Once we go to the 17 completely, if there is no restriction, then you can claim it. Same as vehicles, here, same for insurance, correct. Okay, so this is the first list. Then other list is big. Membership of a club, health, fitness center. Okay, if you're taking any membership of a club or membership of a health or fitness, then credit is always blocked. Then travel benefits, which is extended to employees on vacation, such as leave or home travel concession, that is also not be available. Again, here, where it is a statutory obligation of the employer to provide to the employee, then it will be available. Clear with this? Membership of club, even if it is obligatory, still it will not be available because there is no such obligation. That's what GST, when they have framed, they have looked into the other allied laws also, saying that if that law requires, then we have to give it. So for travel benefits, there is a law which says that you have to extend the travel benefits. So that's why there they have put some exceptions. Wherever exception is required, there they have mentioned. Where it is not required, they have not. Even if doctor is recommended, still Shruti Kumari, आपको उसका बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा. Correct, Praveen? Like when there is a services by the government gives employees that they have to give them vacation or home travel concession. So when it is obligatory that the government has to give, so then they can claim the credit. कंपनी वर्क फॉर गोइंग, सी कंपनी प्लेस के लिए एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जा रहे हैं, तो फिर वो ट्रैवल बेनिफिट नहीं रहेगा. ट्रैवल बेनिफिट क्या होता है? व्हेन लीव देते हैं, वेकेशन दे के फिर जो स्पेंडिंग करते हैं, उसे कहते हैं ट्रैवल बेनिफिट्स. अगर कोई एम्प्लॉइज काम के लिए जा रहा है, राइट, और वो कैब में जा रहा है, तो फिर पिछले सेक्शन में लिखा है कि कैब का आपको बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा. करेक्ट. तो वो बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन अगर बिजनेस के लिए कुछ रीइंबर्समेंट्स है तो उसका क्रेडिट क्लेम कर सकते हैं. Membership, it is permanent block, no exception. Correct. Like a person works in Indian embassy on abroad countries can get this, right? They will get, so it will all be in the nature of expenses which a company will bear it. Now, if it is for travel benefits on vacation, only then they can claim, but they are sending the employees outside, then they cannot claim it. Cash benefits, flight, everything. Travel benefits will include everything, Anirudh. Not necessary, any restriction, everything. A doctor in a hospital can claim credit of health insurance. No, he cannot claim it because he is not into the business of health insurance. He is into the business of health services. Health services and health insurances is different. He cannot. Statutory obligation, Tambeshwari, that is what I had said, ki government will put a condition saying that you have to give for a person of this category that he should be given 15 days vacations for every 2 years. So that is an obligation which they are imposing. So they have to give this benefit to them. Clear? Next is works contract services. Works contract service is very important. For construction of an immovable property, you will not get the credit. What's the definition of a works contract? Works contract means a contract for building, construction, fabrication, completion, erection, installation, fitting out, improvement, modification, repair, maintenance, renovation. इतना बड़ा definition है. Alteration or commissioning of any immovable property. Very important, any immovable property. Wherein transfer of property in goods is involved in the execution of such works contract. So where a building is getting constructed, you're doing renovation, repair, alteration of any immovable property, then that is works contract. और works contract का credit आपको नहीं मिलेगा. Any works contract which you do construction of a building, do a construction of your own building, you do any erection, installation on there in the building, you're building a warehouse, still you will not get the credit of this. Okay. Exception, if it is an input service for further supply of works contract service, that I am into the business of selling buildings, construction buildings. Who will that be? He'll be a builder, developer, or a contractor. There they can claim the credit. But there also there is a restriction, because we know that rate itself gives a restriction saying that you have to pay 5% or 1% without ITC. Because of that, they cannot claim. But the exception under 17.5 says that had that rate been normal, then boss, you would have got it. But here, unfortunately, that is not the case. Second is if that immovable property is plant and machinery. Recently, there was a case on safari retreats, very famous case. That case was all about this plant and machinery. What happened in safari retreat case? There was a mall, a buyer, a builder who was into the construction of mall. And he was saying that I am building this mall and giving it for rent. The department did not give credit for him, saying that it's a works contract service, and under 17.5 works contract services is blocked. But this person said that I am using it for further supply. This exception 1 says no, if it is an input service for further supply, then you can get the credit. So he said, I'm doing a further supply. But the government said no. If it is further supply of works contract services and it should be plant and machinery, only then we'll give you the credit. So the case is still stuck to determine whether the mall is a plant and machinery. So the just 2 words of plant machinery has triggered so much of big hallagula till the Supreme Court level. And they have yet kept it pending, saying that to decide whether that mall is a plant and machinery. So, but basically what I'm trying to say here is if it is an input service for further supply of works contract, a builder developer only can claim it. Second exception is if that immovable property is a plant and machinery. जैसे आप एक lift install करते हो, or you are into the biggest, forget the lift example, you are into the business of oil, Indian Oil Corporation. Now, where will they store their oil? In big tanks. Can they just buy the tanks and keep it? No. They will have to construct the big tank. They have to do the works contract service for that. They have to do building and construction services of building big tanks so that the petrol can be stored there. So that tank is a works contract, but it is a plant and machinery for that business. So they can claim credit for that. Similarly, any manufacturing unit also. If a manufacturing unit is there and it sets up a factory premises where that they have to install big machineries, right? There they can claim the credit, but not for the construction of the shed itself. The roofing, topping, everything, whatever they're doing for the warehouse, that they cannot claim. But for small work or any work which they are doing, which is in the nature of works contract, for installing the plant and machinery, on that credit can be claimed. Okay. Exception 3 is ITC in respect of construction services which is not capitalized, whether for immovable property or plant and machinery, allowed to all recipients, where you are not capitalizing it. जैसे कुछ कंस्ट्रक्शन हो चुका है, अब आपको रिपेयर करना है, सो आप उसको एक्सपेंस ऑफ नहीं करेंगे, जिसको आप एक्सपेंस ऑफ जिसको आप कैपिटलाइज नहीं करोगे, सॉरी, जिसको आप कैपिटलाइज नहीं करोगे, जिसको आप फिक्स्ड असेट्स नहीं बताओगे, only those expenses which are affecting your P&L account, there you can claim the credit. The accounting standards will help you here. The accounting standards will tell you that you have to capitalize it, you have to show it in your fixed assets. On that, credit will not be available, but on the expenses which you are expensing it off as repairs and maintenance, on that you will get the credit. So routine construction related services like repairs, maintenance, renovation, etc., that credit will be available. So in a nutshell, what did we understand in terms of works contract? Saying that works contract is a contract for building. The meaning of works contract, any works contract we take for construction our office, credit is not available. 3 exceptions. If it is an input service for further works contract supply. Second, if that works contract results in a immovable property for plant and machinery. Third is input tax credit in respect of construction services, which is not capitalized, you will get the credit. Clear here? So, but in works cost, repairs and maintenance is included. Then how can we claim ITC? Repairs and maintenance, it's said in the definition, you're right, Preeti. But if you are capitalizing it, you cannot claim the credit. But if it's a routine repairs and maintenance, you can claim a expense of it. So it depends, as I said, on your accounting treatment in your books of accounts. That will decide this. So if you are expensing it off, credit will be available. If it is a major repairs and the auditor is saying that you cannot expense it off because it has a useful life, then you will capitalize it. Credit will not be available. Correct. We have to see AS10. You're right. If machinery fixed to earth by foundation. Now, your contrary thing is air conditioner. Air conditioner is also fixed to the lateral earth. So will you call air conditioner as a plant and machinery? No, right? So anything what is fixed to earth, why is it fixed? Is it fixed because of its nature or is it fixed because of its operation? If you don't fix it, it will wobble. That's why you're fixing it. So you're only grounding it. But some machineries you have to construct a tank around it. You have to do actual construction, then it is a plant and machinery. But if it's a machinery just fixed for the purpose that it should work properly, then that will not be allowed. Very good. What if a petrol bunk purchases a tank and install underground to store in the petrol? In that case, the tank is not construction. Whether bunk gets ITC, correct. So the bunk has to store in such a way that it doesn't affect pollution. So they will keep it as a matter of, they will dig that place, right? There is a civil work which is going. It's a works contract service itself, which is a plant and machinery for the petroleum industry or the petrol bunk itself. So that will be treated as a works contract for plant and machinery. Credit will be available. Okay, works contract. Then what is plant and machinery, which we are defining? That is also defined. Plant and machinery means apparatus, equipment, and machinery which is fixed to earth by foundation or structural support that are used for making outward supply of goods or services and include such foundation and structures, right? So if I buy some machinery which has been used for making outward supply of goods or services, then it will be treated as plant and machinery. But it excludes land, building, or any other civil structures. Telecommunication towers, even though it is a plant and machinery, specifically excluded. And pipelines laid outside the factory premises. Pipelines inside the factory premises is allowed, but pipelines outside the factory premises are not plant and machinery. That is also defined. Then construction of an immovable property. You didn't engage a works contractor, you yourself bought the materials so that you thought you will get the credit. That also government has looped in, saying that if you construct immovable property on your own account, you will not get the credit. Again, exception for construction of plant and machinery, and ITC in respect of construction services, which is not capitalized, which is you're expensing it off, credit will be available. And when the construction is not on own account, that is on somebody else's account, you will get the credit. So this is all interlinked. To find out the loopholes, if you're doing something else here, that will also be blocked. Then there are other things. Telecommunication towers, no ITC. Yes, no ITC. Construction of own account means that you are doing the construction for your own business. You are not engaging any works contractor. You yourself are doing the construction. You are buying the materials. Okay. You are only involving the laborers. You yourself are doing it. That is called construction of immovable property on own account. Self-construction of plant and machinery, we can have ITC. Plant and machinery, self-construction or plant and machinery or works content, both the cases we can have non-hero. So that's an exception. You can have ITC for self-construction of plant and machinery or works contract of plant and machinery. Both you can have. Okay. Then the next round of block credit is inward supplies, which is charged to tax under composition levy. This we know that if there is any tax which a composition person is charging, he should not charge. But in case he is charging, you cannot claim the credit. Inward supplies received by a non-resident taxable person. A non-resident taxable person is coming to India and doing business. To be local purchases he will do, he will not get credit of it. He will get credit of only one thing, that is tax paid on imported goods only is allowed, not even on imported services. So if a non-resident person comes to India, the government doesn't want to give him full benefit. So that's why if he's coming to India, he has to either form a Indian company or form the Indian structure, then he will get all the benefit. But if he's coming as a non-resident taxable person, taking registration as a non-resident taxable person, whatever goods he's bought from outside India, he will get credit only on that. On any local services, local goods, what he purchases, on that credit is not available. Then serve goods or services used for personal consumption. Already food वगैरह निकाल दिया है, but apart from that also, if there is any goods which is used for personal consumption, credit will not be available. Then any goods which is lost, you have bought it but you have lost it. It got stolen, it got destroyed, or that is written off, either by way of gift or free sample. Could be anything which you are disposing it off. On that, credit is not available. And tax paid in fraud cases, detention and confiscation, credit is not available. So in all of these cases, credit is not available. So this is all on the blocked credit. I know it was a lot of things to digest, but this is the list. Please go through this section 17. In the next class, if there is any line item which you have not understood, we can discuss that again. Inward supply charge to tax under composition levy. This point is not clear. ठीक है. So composition person है. Okay, person can get registered under composition supply. उनको input tax credit they cannot claim. They cannot claim any input tax credit, and the outward supplies what they are making on that, they cannot collect tax. They have to pay it from their own pocket because the rate of 1% or 6% what is there, that is the rate where a supplier will pay from his own pocket. Now he cannot charge to me, but in case he charges also, so any supplies what you take from composition, credit will not be available to me is what it is saying. Okay. how non-resident will get credit of goods? Whatever they purchase, whatever they brought from outside India, correct? If they are importing, then they'll pay customs duty, no? Then customs duty ke saath what IGST they will pay, that they will get the credit because they have to get it through customs route itself. So only when they are getting through customs route and IGST is being charged, that they can get the credit. Okay, how to solve ITC questions? So we'll take questions next class, Hardik, so that we are able to solve it. I will take questions on ITC. Okay, so we are done with the class. We'll catch up in the next class. Any more doubts? We'll take it up next. Thank you very much.